All right, guys. So welcome back to the Cruz Coaching Podcast. We have a special guest on the podcast today. We have Kirsten Davis, who plays for Louisville, racing over in Kentucky, in the NWSL. Kirsten is a forward, the number 9. She played for Texas Tech as well. Kirsten, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, guys, I'm going to be asking Kirsten about 10 to 11 questions, and after that, we're going to have a little bit of a speed round. I didn't even have time to prepare all the speed questions, so some of them are going to be on the fly, Kirsten. Okay.
Okay. No, that's good.
First question for you, Kirsten. Well, obviously, this whole podcast is to kind of get to know you and get to know what your journey has been like. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Kirsten, the first question I have for you, can you tell us a little bit about your early years playing soccer and how did you get started playing in the first place?
I started playing soccer when I was about 4 years old, and my parents just put me in a bunch of sports just to keep me active and get to know people. And so I just stuck with soccer. I played a lot of sports growing up, and I played basketball up until my junior year of high school. But once I hit the middle school ages, I knew that I wanted to just stick with soccer. That was my main sport, but I played other sports just because I loved sports in general. But yeah, so the early teenage years is when I knew that soccer was the sport I wanted to stick with.
Okay. And so this drives me to a question of how do you feel about the kids who specialize at one sport all their life?
I think there's a lot of benefits and more positives with playing multiple sports, especially at a young age, because you don't want to get burnt out on your sport too early, or at least in my personal opinion. I feel like playing multiple sports, especially basketball, where it's so different than soccer, you're using your hands instead of your feet. It's just so different that you're getting a variety of different things and you're able to mentally not just focus on one sport all the time.
Yeah. Okay. And what do you say motivated you a lot to or what inspired you to pursue a professional career?
I think I just enjoyed it, and I found this passion in it that all I wanted to do was just have a soccer ball at my feet. And and I think that just kind of developed over time. And watching Abby Wambach and people back then on the national team, seeing how successful they were, that I wanted to be like them. They were my role models. And so everything they were doing, I wanted to do too. And so I found those people that I could look up to. And anytime they were posting any type of drills they were doing or anything like that, I would want to go recreate it myself so I could be like them.
So how much practice did you how much times did you practice a day and all that? I mean, was there any times where you felt like you were just practicing like a crazy person?
Honestly, yes, just because I loved to do that. If you ask my parents, they would say I always just had a ball at my feet. Even if I was just walking around the house with no shoes on or anything, I would just have a ball and walk around just because I like to do that. But then there was so many times that I would get on my iPad and pull up soccer videos with 2 cones, and I would just recreate it in our garage. And just because I liked to do it, and I just had such a passion for soccer. And I think that really helped me because I was able to just always have a ball at my feet and always be comfortable with the soccer ball at such a young age, because that was in middle school when I would do that.
Okay. Man, you make me feel kind of old because I can't remember. I remember when I was young. I don't think we had iPads.
Yeah.
It's wild. So you scored 2 goals in your rookie year. What was that feeling like, especially when you scored your first goal?
It was definitely an unreal experience because, I mean, being on a professional team, that was my overall dream with soccer and everything I could have wanted. And so to be able to score, because I'm a forward, obviously I like to score and I practice to score. So to be able to do that, and especially the games that I scored in were just, it was unreal. It was an unreal feeling because we had so many people in the stands. And then when I scored my second goal at LA, that stadium was packed. So it was just an indescribable feeling.
Yeah, surreal moment, right? So kind of jumping back a little bit, what would you say was that pivotal moment where you feel like you developed the most as a player?
So when I was in middle school, my family relocated to Australia, and so Australia's style of play is so different than here. Like they're just way more technical, and so I was used to being like the kid that would score all the goals for my team when I was in elementary school, and usually one of the best players on the team. And then when we moved to Australia because of my dad's job, I was not. Like everyone was so much more like technically advanced than me because
Mhm.
my team just didn't focus on that at the time. And so having to work on moves, skills, ball control, all of that, and play catch up with a team in Australia, like I think that was when I like really took it seriously and took the time to like work on my personal development. And then when I came back to the US, I felt like I was already a few steps ahead of people my age here just because at the time, like the technical side of soccer wasn't as main of a focus, especially with like the clubs I was playing at and stuff like that.
Right. I mean, I think that now that we are actually seeing a lot of younger kids coming into the
Yes.
NWSL at like 15 and stuff now, which is kind of wild. And I don't
Hmm.
think we even have players in the professional leagues that young in Europe. Well,
Yeah.
female players at that. But
Hmm.
I mean, how do you feel about that? How do you feel like it kind of took too long or what?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's pros and cons to both of
Yeah.
if you do that at a young age or if you don't. But I think it is a positive step to be able to bring players in like that because at that young of an age, being exposed to a professional environment, I think
Mhm.
can be really helpful for their development and playing with these players that are so much older than them and obviously like the speed of play just everything with soccer is obviously a way big step compared to at 15 years old.
15
So
years
I
old.
think that it's so good because I feel like when you're thrown into an environment like that where everyone is better than you and is faster than you or whatever, it makes you like have to adapt to that
It
at a faster
forces you
pace.
to develop. It kind of forces it a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And then so now let's jump into like your game preparation and all that. I know that
Mhm.
the mental half of the game could be really tough. Like, what is your like mental preparation like, especially if it's a very important game? And yeah.
Mhm. Um, well, this is definitely taking trial and error. I think over like just looking back on my whole career, I kind of had to find things that like worked and didn't work, or like that would make me feel my best
Mhm.
for a game. And so now I kind of have a routine that I've mastered that I know will
Tell
put
us
me in
the
the right
routine. Tell
headspace.
us the routine. Come
Yeah.
on.
Well, okay. So the number one thing that I do is I always take time just by myself, like in a quiet room, and just visualize like what I look like when I'm playing my best game.
Mhm.
You know, like what do I look like and feel like thinking back on games where I'm like, oh, that was a really good game. Like, what did I feel like? I was hustling, I was aggressive, I was taking people 1v1, and I just imagine myself doing that in the game I'm about to play. And obviously putting the ball in the back of the net. So I'll like run through chances on goal and like what I could do in that situation and just all the positive things. I just run them through my head of what that looks like when I'm playing my best game. And so I do that and then I always make sure to just kind of like meditate. Like I like to be in a very calm headspace before a game.
Okay.
I like to keep my heart rate low, listen to some like calming music, and then when it's right before the game, then it's like go time and you switch.
I think it's crazy how everybody's so different because
Yeah.
he's like, I like to stay calm. I know players who have to listen to like like rap music or something before
Yeah.
that, right? So um, do you have any like superstitions or like is this a, a certain way you must wear your socks or something like you know what I mean?
Yes, in college, I had so many superstitions, like, I couldn't even tell you how many I had, but now I do not. I actually do not have any. Like, I in college, I always wore the same pink headband every game, but then here, I really don't have any superstitions. I
Mhm.
mean, I put, like, my socks on the same way every game, but if I don't, it's not like, "Oh,
It's
now I'm gonna
not
have
a
a
big
bad
deal.
game," type thing.
No. Okay. Okay. And then well obviously we have done some training and stuff
Mhm.
together and everything. Uh how do you feel I mean I was curious as well too. How do you feel it has helped you in any way? Because I know that you do a lot of training on your own and everything.
Mhm.
I was always like man, she wants to do another one with me. Okay, cool. Okay, another one with me. I'm like, what benefit did you see?
Well, I think it's just so different when it's like me by myself at a field versus when I'm with you at a field where you can make a structured training based on like what I'm wanting to work on, and like just on individual trainings in general. They're important because you can focus on like things that in a team training environment, you're not going to focus on because it's not specific to just you. You got to think of the overall team. So if there's like little things that you need to work on, like ball awareness, spatial awareness, skills, like anything like that, like you're able to work on that. And then obviously with you having someone that can push you and, play you balls and do all of that stuff, I think is so helpful. And it's good to switch it up rather than if you're just by yourself at a field with a goal and a ball, than having you.
Awesome. I appreciate that. Well, it's been really fun working with you. It's been fun getting to know you as well. And we are coming up to that question where we just talked about the misconceptions. Do you think there are any common misconceptions about professional soccer? Because I know a lot of kids out there, they believe it's like this easy life,
Like an easy life?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say it's easy.
I thought you were about to say it was.
No, because if I think back on my career, like it does take a lot and a lot of sacrifice to get to where you want to be. Like you have to be willing to put in all the extra work that some players aren't willing to do, staying after practice, working on things that you should be getting better at, and just having that motivation and discipline to work on things even when you don't feel like it, but it's going to help you in the long run, I think is what separates people from going to the next level or not.
Well, like, what about when you get there? Does it get easier or does it get harder?
It gets harder because when you get here, you have players that have been playing in the league for so much longer. So they are so much more experienced. They're already like adapted to the speed of play, like physicality, all of that. So now it's like you had people that play professionally. They had a successful college season and then they come to the professional environment and it's almost like you're a freshman again. Like you have to work your way up and prove yourself all over again because no one cares where you came from or what you did. It's like a fresh start and you got to prove yourself again, but at an even higher level.
Yeah, absolutely. So what has been your most memorable moment? Let's go with a positive one first and then I'll do a negative.
Okay. My best memorable moment. Well, if I think about college, it definitely has to be when we would beat our rival teams in college. Like Texas was a big one. So whenever we'd beat them, that was always a big deal. And then I think another one is just like thinking about all the teams that I got to be a part of and like seeing the different cultures and like how every single team is so different. But I think it's such a memorable thing because it's like it also taught me so much about life and people in general and how to work with people that are different than you or grew up different than you, So it's like you just get exposed to so many different things that I think it helps you become a better person.
Yeah. Okay. And that's what's the negative part? There's always a negative part to everything.
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is my first professional game when the first time I got the ball, someone just threw me to the ground. Like they just pushed me and I fell right on my bottom. Like I was like, what the heck? And it was like, welcome to the pros, And so I think that's something that I'll remember forever because it was just like I wasn't expecting it. It was my first pro game. I was so nervous, but that's something now where it's like I'm not gonna let that happen again.
It woke you up a little bit, right?
Yeah. I needed it.
That's pretty cool. So you see, not all negatives are bad. Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's usually a positive way of looking at it.
Yeah. And so what advice would you give to any of the young players out there who are aspiring to also become a professional player?
Well, the first thing I would say is to always have fun with it. I think soccer is a sport, and so it's meant to be fun. Like you should be enjoying doing it no matter what you're doing with soccer. So like always make sure you're having fun. But then the second thing is to just be disciplined and be willing to put in the work that you might not want to do. Like how I said, putting in the extra time. Like it's going to be harder for you to make it to the next level if you're not willing to set aside time to work on your specific game. Like, you have to always be wanting to improve yourself. Mm-hmm. So whether that's going to the field by yourself or with a parent or individual training, like, you just need to be able to do more than what just everyone else is doing.
Yeah, I always see times where there's a lot of players who get into that rut of they don't want to train because, you know, they're probably tired or something as well too. And I understand that. But
yeah,
as you just said, there is going to be those times where you're just going to have to be disciplined, you know, and just do the things that you don't want to do. So yeah, okay. And so what are your goals, your aspirations for the future, long term and short term?
Well, definitely, I guess this is a short term for this season. It's just to build off my rookie year. There was a lot of positives and a lot of things that I took away from that year, but there were so many things that I learned about myself and things that I know I can get better at. So I want to just have a better year and help the team more in any way that I can, in whatever role that may be. But I just want to be able to look back and know that my second year was a big jump from my first year in a positive way.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And then just a long-term goal is to just, you know, be a consistent goal scorer and always an offensive threat for whatever team I'm on. You know, and just because I'm a goal scorer and I like to score goals, so I want to make sure that that's always a top priority for me, or helping other people score. You know, just being a consistent forward.
And then how was preseason and what's the environment of the team now going into your first game? Are you guys trying to win the league this year? Is that the main goal?
Yes, and we definitely, our main goal is to make the playoffs this year, because we're a new league, or a new team in the league. Like, the team's only a few years old, so we definitely want to make the playoffs, and hopefully win the whole thing. But this preseason has been really good. Like, I think everyone is just so friendly with each other, and you can tell everyone actually wants to be here. So I think that helps, because when you're in an environment where everyone cares about the team and wants to be here and be the best version of themselves, it makes everyone else around them better. And so I think this preseason, it's really showed. So we've been able to develop those relationships on and off the field.
Okay. Well, Kirsten, thank you for answering all of the questions that I had, but we have our speed question round.
Okay.
You ready? It's about 10 questions. I think I wrote down like 3, so the rest of them are going to come off the head. So,
okay. Do I have to answer fast?
Well, I guess you got to answer like one word. It's like it's kind of like a either or.
Okay.
Thing, right? And or multiple choice, basically. Right.
Okay.
So, you ready?
Yes.
Let's go. So, pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Oh.
What?
That breaks my heart. I don't like
What? Pancakes are so much better.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Yeah. Grass or turf?
Grass.
Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
What's your favorite music?
Country.
What is your favorite artist?
Morgan Wallen.
Okay. Favorite TV show?
The Office.
The Office. Oh, you told me that. Most inspirational player. The most inspirational player to you?
Either Abby Wambach or Alex Morgan.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Oh, Top Gun.
Waffle fries or sweet potato fries?
Sweet potato fries.
Let's go. What would you say is your favorite meal before a game?
Oh, it always has to be breakfast food, like eggs, potatoes, some pancakes.
Even if it's a late game?
Yes, always breakfast. We always have a breakfast option at our facility for before games.
Oh, nice. All right. Well, Kirsten, I think that's all the questions I have for you today. It was really, really good talking to you. Guys, look forward to seeing Kirsten at Racing Louisville this coming season in the NWSL. Kirsten, I'll be supporting you all the way, girl.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun.
No problem. Bye. Bye.
Bye.